Okay, here we are. Taylor's Falls Concerned Citizens Podcast number 2. Take it away, ladies.
Well, I'm Sandra Berg,
I'm Tana Havumaki.
and today we're going to talk about some issues that are facing the citizens of Taylor's Falls. And just as a little disclaimer, I want to say that we're speaking off the cuff. We have nothing in front of us. We are not.
We didn't write on our wrists or hands.
So if we talk about costs or anything, we're definitely drawing from our memory. And if anyone wants specific costs of anything that we talk about, those costs are available to you as a citizen and a taxpayer in this community. So you can go up to City Hall, might take a little while, but you can get that information. And the first thing I wanted to talk about is the 2 different investigations that we've had recently.
I had a couple items I wanted to bring up about that, although this is not my best field. I did have a question as to who was in charge of telling the investigator who to interview. Because from what I understand...
In what investigation? Number 1,
Either
Soldo, or number 2, data breach?
Either one of them.
Okay.
From what I understand, there was one person who probably should have been interviewed who wasn't ever brought up. It was never brought up about this person. So I would like to know where the investigators got the names and if there were other names that they could have, of people they could have spoken with. Mm-hmm. And that's my first thing.
Okay.
And you can go now and then I'll go later.
We have a hard time doing this because we usually giggle too much, but the first investigation was due to a complaint that was given to the city council from the then clerk treasurer, naming the mayor and I guess one of the city employees as making her workplace unmanageable. In other words, workplace harassment.
Toxic workplace.
Toxic workplace.
Yes.
And immediately the city council went into a paid for investigation. My personal thoughts is that it could have been handled very easily, at least to begin with, by
In-house.
just sitting down and talking.
Right, and that's generally the first step in something like this.
I think it really has to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, my other point was more with the first case than the second. I mean, we haven't seen the reports. It would be nice for us to be able to see the reports, but we haven't seen them yet. Ms. Soldo, who did the first investigation, said that much of what she found was unsubstantiated. Well, I went online and looked up some of the other cases that she's handled, and the ones I found were all unsubstantiated. So I guess she never finds enough people innocent or guilty. So that's my second point.
And one of the things that she did, and this is questionable in my mind, is she named the mayor not a public figure, but an employee. And that becomes very, very paramount to what we got into afterwards in the data breach. Because as most people know, you can say anything you want, good or bad. We can argue that some other time. But if you're a public figure, you can say almost anything you want about them. Not just elected officials, but movie stars or I can't even think of any. But if you're a public figure, you're fair game. Now, a lot of people want to change that, but it hasn't been changed. But as an employee of the city, he was protected. So they were saying, no, he's not a public figure. No, he's not an elected official. He's an employee, which we all know is wrong. So how she came to that realization is beyond me.
I don't know either. I don't know, because the gist of what our complainant said was she was having difficulties with the mayor and with another employee. And to change the category of what the mayor was or is seems a little odd.
Someone stepped in there, don't you think?
I think so.
But we can't prove that, so we're just speculating here. But
We're good speculators.
we're great at that. Miss Soldo presented an outline of her report to the council months ago. I think it was first part of February. And she made a number of recommendations to the council. And they were important in my mind. And the council has not moved forward on, as far as I know, any of them.
As far as I know, neither do
Right.
I.
And the resulting expense to the taxpayers for the first investigation, the Soldo investigation, was right around $15,000. Correct?
I thought it was 16,000 something.
Okay, it was right around
Close
that
enough.
amount. Yeah, and like we said, if you want, right down to the pennies, it's there at City Hall. But we were told at first that insurance would cover this cost. Well, of course, we found out it didn't. So you are covering the cost. Me, you, everybody.
I was told by a council member that, you know who paid for it? You did. I thought, well, I personally didn't, but our taxes did.
Mm-hmm. Now we take you to the second investigation. That stems from the first, because the complaint that the city clerk made to the council became questionably a confidential document. Now, there was a gentleman who decided, before anyone really said that it was confidential, believe me, that people should know about this complaint. So he somehow, nobody knows, got a copy that was redacted. So the employee of the city, that whole thing was blacked out. So nobody knows about that. The only thing that was left was the public figure, elected official, Mr. Mayor. But our attorney said, our attorney being the city attorney, not representing us, but representing the council, said as long as the Soldo investigation said that he was an employee, then we had to take that to the we had to make sure that the data, the complaint didn't get out in the public, because an employee cannot be harassed in the public. Okay. Well, Don didn't know that. Don being the man that distributed the complaint. And now we get into another investigation because they claim, the city council, that the data was breached. Okay, was the data breached? Did Dawn do it? We don't know because the investigator never talked to Dawn. Wouldn't you think?
That was one of the items I questioned.
Now, I have not seen the data breach report. I've been told
None of us have.
None of us have, but I've been told that it's available now. And I've also been told by those who have read it that it's full of a lot of gossip. Gossip. Who did what? The only two people that know the truth was the former clerk treasurer and Dawn, the person who distributed the complaint to the citizens. And Dawn was never interviewed. And the clerk treasurer claimed she never ever did it. They claim that the investigator claims that they know he received it from her because they have video of him coming in and grabbing or getting from her a stack of papers. Well, I happen to know that that stack of papers was something that he picked up for me. I had called and she had put this together. It was the data breach. It was the data procedure booklet. It was some timesheets. It was the employee procedure book, and he brought that to me. And he filled out the data form to receive the complaint, but she said she couldn't give it to him because it had to go to the council first. And the council ultimately refused it. Now, how Dawn received it, the only person that knows is Dawn. And he was never interviewed. Okay. So how much did that cost us?
I'm sure it was pretty much the same cost.
I think it was less. I think
hope.
the first invoice was like $3,600.
That was just the first one.
I know, and they said there were more, but that was about the time that the zoning administrator got sick, and we wish him good health for sure. But we stopped getting packets. Some of us, you can call City Hall and request that you be on an email blast for packets for every council meeting. And that includes finance report.
Right.
Well, we are not getting finance reports now. We are getting some things of the packet, but I believe that even the council isn't getting financial reports. So we don't know. And you don't know.
There's a lot we don't know.
That's right.
But we would like to find out some of these things. It's really important. It's important that the city takes care of its residents and is open to its residents and lets the residents know what is happening in this beautiful city we live in. So that's kind of what we'd like to see.
And as you know, we've been through a month, over a month, 2 months maybe, where the City Hall hasn't been open. And the phone system was down.
May 15th.
May 15th, it went down, and it was repaired maybe a few weeks ago.
A week ago or something. Yeah.
They still don't have the prompt, where they don't have that up to date. The website is an absolute mess. By the way, check out our website. It's not a mess.
It's very beautiful.
It is. We're very proud of it. And soon we will have a new Taylor's Falls bulletin board. It's in the works, where you can put hiring, you can put events for your Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts or church events. You can have a letter to the editor, you can put official notices, although it won't be the official place to put them. But we're trying to help. We're really trying to help. And all we want to do is provide insight into our government, make sure that our government is being receptive to us, and what else?
That sounds good to me.
Just making Taylor's Falls a better place to live.
And that is something that's really important. And the Taylor's Falls Concerned Citizens is working towards making this a better city, the best it can be. Not that it's not good right now, but it can be better. And I did want to mention that one of the things that will be online shortly is that we are working on 2 grants. One of them is for safe routes to school for kids, and that has been submitted before, but we're going to try it again. And we're also excited about trying to get a grant for a community garden so that people would have a specific place they could plant things. It'd have deer-proof fencing. And I think this is a really good idea since the raccoons ate all my tomatoes. So I would really like to have something that's fenced in. So this is something we would really like to try, and probably we won't get to that till next year. But when people have ideas, please let us know, and we can share them with the whole city.
And we want you to know that we will be at the National Night Out next Tuesday, the 16th.
Yeah.
And our booth will be in the basement of the Baptist Church. We will have a lot of our information there. We will have people that you can talk to. We will have some of our podcasts streaming. We'll be there.
We might even have treats. Treats always helps.
She's the one that likes treats. Oh, we
like
both
treats.
do. Absolutely. And after that, I think it's August 25th at the community center, 7 o'clock. We will be having a meet and greet for all the candidates, all of them who file for city council, mayor's position in the city of Taylor's Falls. We'll have them all there. You can talk to them, you can ask them questions. And then on October 13th, okay, I've got a prompter here. I'm getting the wrong dates. I should have had that on
She
the
should be holding up those cards with writing.
I could.
Okay, October 13th at the community center, 7 o'clock, we are having a roundtable discussion. All the candidates are invited to be there. I hope they're all there. And you can ask them questions, but the questions will have to be submitted in advance so we can go through them and make sure that we're not asking the same question over and over and over again. But the candidates will not know the questions in advance. They will all have the same opportunity to give their opinions. So we have a lot going on, and we're moving and grooving.
Amen, sister.
Amen, sister. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Diane.